Happy Monday and welcome back to the reading vlogs. It is Monday afternoon. As I said, I had a wonderful but really exhausting weekend. I had a great time at my friend's birthday. She really loved her present, which I'm really thankful for. And yeah, I managed to not have an allergic reaction to the cats until late in the evening, and then I had a really bad allergic reaction. But that's fine. I kind of knew that, but I'm feeling pretty exhausted because of it. And obviously we were gone for just 2 days and we had to drive 12 hours in those 2 days. So we spent a lot of time in the car and I am incredibly tired because of it. But I had a great time, which is all I can hope for. And visited my mom. I gifted her some Lego sets because she really loves the flower collections, the botanical stuff, and she doesn't really have the money to buy herself all of the Lego sets. So when I visit, I try to bring her some so she can do them, which is being it's kind of gotten a tradition now. So yeah, let's talk about reading. I actually finished 2 romance books over the weekend. They are both in one series, which is called The Brennan Boys, and the first one is Heat Transfer and the second one is Bond Strength. Both of them are pretty insta-lovey and with really little conflict, and the focus is more on the main characters helping each other grow and make their lives better, just like that. And the first one is between I've forgotten the names. Let me look the names up. Between Cor and Felix, which they met each other at sword fighting class, which they both do. Cor works as a contractor and Felix works... I don't even know. Maybe something with money or something like that. Well, so Felix thinks he's straight. They have a really close friendship with a lot of touching and stuff like that, and Cor has fallen in love with Felix, but Felix thinks he's straight, and he, at the beginning of the book, he's still in a relationship, and then his girlfriend breaks up with him, and in kind of a weird way for him, he doesn't understand until later in the book, and then both of them are have to be fake dating because Felix's family and Cor's family and Felix's work buddies or something like that assume that they are together because of some slight miscommunication, and both of them just are leaning into it. And at some point Felix realizes that he has feelings for Cor, and they talk with one another, and then they kind of hash it out, and it's really sweet. I liked it. It's pretty insta-lovey. I think the main complaint that I have with both books is that they aren't that well edited. There should have been an editor looking over them, because there are a lot of grammar mistakes and words spelled wrong and stuff like that, which was slightly getting me out of the story again and again. But yeah, it's fine. And then the second one is between Declan and Noah. Declan is a brother, of course, and Declan is autistic, and he has a hard time. He's too blunt, and he just says it how it is, and he has a hard time getting dates. And so he's kind of annoyed at that, and he was childhood best friends with Noah, but they kind of grown apart around the time Noah got interested in sports, and Declan was just purely a nerd, and Noah is a jock/nerd. He has kind of both in him. And Noah is a chronic people pleaser, and it is kind of ruining his life. So he doesn't think relationships are for him because he just can't keep saying yes to things, and so he just never has time for anything. And yeah, they get brought together by a storm, and they kind of talked about why they've grown apart, and then realize that they both had feelings for each other, and Declan just didn't realize, because he didn't realize that what he thought was annoyance at Noah was actually feelings for Noah that he couldn't interpret, and so he misinterpreted them. And so they talk, and then they get into a relationship together, and they help each other work through their problems, with like Declan being just like feeling like he isn't enough for anyone, and he's always like invisible to anyone because of how he behaves, and Noah finally setting boundaries and actually doing what he wants in life and not saying yes to everything everybody else wants to do in life. And yeah, that was also really sweet. I'm giving both 3 stars because of the editing. It was at some points really not great. So yeah, I don't know. I would hope for them to maybe get an editor. I know that obviously not everybody can afford that and it can be hard, but yeah. Other than that, I did like both. I looked into the third one, but it is a pretty big age gap relationship with like best friend's dad. I won't go there. I am not for that at all. And then I did actually also started a physical read. I bought that book at the weekend when I was shopping with my friend before her birthday party. And we went to the bookstore I used to go to in my hometown. We went to the town over. But yeah, I had to go back to the original bookstores. You know, we did a little bit of a tour where we went drinking when we were younger and stuff like that. So, you know, I had to see how everything changed since I was there the last time, because it has been quite some time. And so we went into the bookstore and obviously had a little bit of a look around. And I found this book and I just could not pick it up. This is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. I never actually read the story and I assumed it was like just that story in the book, but actually it's a short story collection by Stevenson. But yeah, this copy is like, I love this design of the book. I just could not get it. It was a little bit more expensive than I would have otherwise have bought, because I feel like 25 euros for this version is really expensive. There was like a 10 euro version, just uglier. But yeah, I just fell in love with the book and I could not pick it up. But yeah, it has this really, really nice floral design on it, on the back as well. And then you have the stenciled edges that are like, it looks a little bit like a poisonous oil spill kind of. And yeah, I'm super in love with the version. It is so incredibly pretty. It comes with like a bookmark already attached. And yeah, I'm so far 30 pages into Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And I do know the story because obviously I watched the movies and I feel like it's hard to not know the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And so far I'm really enjoying it. It is obviously like more olden times English, so it is a little bit more, I have to wrap my head around a little bit more when it comes to the sentence structure and some words. But it is fine so far, and it is really interesting to get like the original story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. But yeah, so far I'm at the point where Hyde kills for the first time. And yeah, what I also think is interesting that we don't get the perspective of Dr. Jekyll or Hyde. We actually get the perspective of the lawyer of Jekyll, which is kind of interesting. I didn't know that. So yeah, but I'm really looking forward to also reading the other stories, because obviously I never realized that Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was such a short story, because it's only like 76 pages, and then we have like a couple of other stories in here. So I'm super excited to continue with this. And obviously I had to read it directly, you know, because I knew why, and it's so pretty. And yeah, we're gonna read this week. And we'll see with the romance. I haven't decided what I want to pick up yet when it comes to that, but I will pick something up tonight. And then I also did a little bit of like progress with my cross stitching. I did a little bit of hair and skin, and then this is the continuation of the dragon's tail. So yeah, that is what I did when it comes to that. And yeah, now you're all caught up from the weekend, and I will see you tomorrow with probably the rest of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, because there are only like 40 pages left, so I should be able to totally read that tomorrow. And yeah, then we'll see what kind of romance I will pick up and all of the updates for that. So I finished Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the first story in the collection, and it is a rather interesting story. I think I like the ending. I like kind of the conclusion that you get at the end of the story. I don't really want to spoil it. I don't know if, you know, it's a story that is, like, obviously it's a story that is widely known, but I don't know if the ending in the book is widely known. But I think it's kind of funny, the idea that Jekyll puts forward that, like, humans are like a duality of good and evil, and that's it. That I think is kind of a weird idea, like, from the get-go. Like, the things Dr. Jekyll does are kind of just bad from the start and, like, doomed to fail from the start, and I don't really get why he did what he did at all. Like, it gets explained, but for me the explanation just doesn't feel enough. But I like the story. I think it was actually, like, an interesting story of, like, relationships in that time, because obviously it's a historical story of, like, how people interact with one another, and then the problems with Dr. Jekyll. And yeah, it was interesting. I actually enjoyed it. And I'm really interested to see what the other stories are about. So we will see. I am now... The next one is The Body Snatcher, which isn't too long. So I'm thinking I will just, like, quickly check in with you after each story. I think that might make the most sense to just quickly talk about the stories. But yeah, I'm super excited to continue with that. I'm really happy that I bought it. It's super interesting. You know, I don't have the most interest in a lot of the classics, like the Jane Austen ones, for example. I don't really think that I would enjoy them, but I do love picking up the more weirder classics and the more, like, in going into the sci-fi direction classics. So I'm super happy I picked that one up. And then I did read a short novella, a romance yesterday, which is called Pretend You're Mine by Sloane Kennedy. It's a protected short story, so it is, like, it belongs to, like, another universe, but it's just a super short story. It was like 60 pages or something like that. So I gave it 3 stars because it did feel pretty rushed because of the page count, but I did like the essence of the story. It's like 2 guys who are neighbors, and our protector he's like a landscaper by trade, and he overhears his neighbor being screamed at and being mistreated, and so what he does is he takes his small dog and put it through the fence to kind of be able to go after the dog and be like, oh my god, so sorry, my dog went into your yard, can I please get him back, to kind of protect the other guy. And then he meets his neighbor because he doesn't even know his neighbor, and his neighbor is a more or less retired ballet he does ballet, a dancer. He's a ballet dancer, who has, like, a knee injury, and because of that he can't really do it, and his ex is there and gives him trouble. And then our main guy, who was straight to that point, though he doesn't really care about labels all that much, but he has never been with a man, like, pretty much falls in love with the first look, and the ballet dancer as well. And so he is like, I'm gonna make sure you're okay, because the dancer has promised his ex to dance as like a fundraiser thing. And so our main character is like, I'm gonna go with you to the fundraiser, and then they are fake boyfriends, and at the end of the night they want to be real boyfriends. And obviously it's, like, really compact, but it was still really sweet. You know, with talking about what happened to the dancer, the backstory, we get a little bit of that, and then them being, like, in love, and then we skip, like, 6 months forward and get, like, a happy ending at the end. So it was cute. 3 stars because I think it's too short for my taste for, like, a romance, actually. The other 2 books I tried to read yesterday, I didn't like at all, so I'm gonna have to search for some new ones for tonight. I feel like my quote is, like, I get 3 books and like one of them, and then 2 I will DNF, so that seems to be the ratio I'm going at the moment. But yeah, that is for the reading. And now for the stitching, I have made quite a bit of progress because this is my only, like, creative project at the moment, so I'm getting through it at like a pretty good pace. But, you know, finally can tell a little bit what is going on. We have the dragon's tail here, and then here we have the fairy. I think it's a fairy. I like the girl. And she has a book in her hand. So yeah, I made quite good progress, and I'm currently working on the dragon tail to fill it in here. So I have this section of the piece finished, and that is what I'm working on now and what I will continue to do this afternoon. And then I will check in with you once I read the next short story and whatever romance I find for tonight. I finished Body Snatcher, and it was kind of exactly what I was expecting, kind of. It's a story about a young doctor, or like he's old in the beginning, but he tells the story from when he was younger, and he worked for a professor as like a student assistant, and in his role he is taking dead bodies to be examined in class. It's a historical fiction throughout the times where dead bodies were still taken from graveyards and from police and from crimes. And he, at the beginning, he just thinks, okay, somebody just like finds the dead body somewhere, and then it's kind of dawning on him that they are victims of crimes, and maybe those crimes are done willingly and because they need bodies. And then he actually recognizes one of the victims that he is supposed to take on for the doctor, and from then on kind of he really doubts everything. And yeah, the story ends in the tiniest bit of mystery and supernatural, but like really just like the tiniest bit at the ending. But I really liked it. It was a really good story. I read a lot about the body snatchers from the time and watched documentaries about it, because I think it's a really important topic to think about, like where our medicine where our modern medicine like started, and what was done to further medicine, and like what was done in like really horrible ways, and what, you know, we obviously should remember because it's part of the history of medicine. And the story hit it on the nail, on the head. Obviously, the author, I just looked, the stories were published around 1868, so obviously it's also from the time like the author wrote in that times. And yeah, I really like the story. I got a great bit of, not enjoyment per se, but like it was a really good representation of what was happening back then. So I did really enjoy that, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the next story now, which is, where is it? Which is called A Lodging for the Night. So I will check in with you once I finish A Lodging for the Night. Okay, I finished the next short story, and I have a kind of funny thing to say. I technically finished the book now. I bought a misprint. I don't know how it happened. I obviously didn't look through the book when I bought it. Let's quickly talk about the story, and then I tell you what happened. The story that I read was the Lodging for the Night, which is about a guy who gets together with unsavory people. They kill one in their like one dies. They play a kind of game, and the main guy villain is Villian, maybe, studies at the university, and he is making like a poem or something like that. And then one of the other guys kills the other one. There's like one monk with them, a priest, stuff like that. And then they flee the house that they are in, which is like an abandoned house. It's really cold outside, and our guy then goes and searches for a place to stay for the night, and seems to end up at his dad's house, who seems to be a knight. I'm not quite sure I'm interpreting the story right. And they just talk about honor and God and stuff like that. To be totally honest, I didn't understand the story at all. I don't really know what the story wants to tell me at all, and it just seems to be like a slice of life, because in the end, like the knight kicks Villian out again, because he's like, yeah, I'm a thief because I have to live, and I'm just really confused about the story, to be honest. And then I wanted to start with the next one, which is Markheim. And then I wanted to look up how long it is to know how much I would need to read. And this is not the end of the story, but in the middle of the story, the book starts again. And so I have the complete tale of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde again in here. And then I also have the Body Snatcher again, as you can see. This is the Body Snatcher again, but only half of the Body Snatcher. And then the book ends. Technically, there should have been the short stories Thrawn Janet and the Misadventures of John Nicholson, but they are not in my copy of the book. So yeah, I have a complete misprint. I don't know how that happened. Obviously, I can't give it back. I bought it by my friends. Yeah, I don't know if I could exchange it. It's kind of funny. I'm not mad at the book. I'm taking this in stride. But I am choosing to mark this as read because I read halfway through it and I'm not gonna DNF it. I'm not gonna buy a second copy, to be honest. So I'm just gonna say I read it and I'm gonna be fine with it. I think I'm giving the book 3 stars, mainly because I did not understand the last story. I really liked the Body Snatcher, and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was more around the 3.5 stars. So all in all, I think I'm gonna go with 3 stars. I don't know how I would have liked the other ones, but yeah, that has been a quick end to the book, quite the unexpected end. But yeah, I'm gonna take this in stride. I don't know. I think it's kind of funny to have like misprinted copies of books, but obviously it's not what I technically wanted. But oh well, stranger things have happened. But yeah. I'm gonna look for I already know what I want to read next, but I'm gonna tell you tomorrow. But yeah, we're finished with this one. So yeah, I also have an update on the romance. I started a new romance yesterday. I forgot the name. I'm gonna have to look it up. But I did really like it. It's about he's a physical therapist, and he lives in this house, and his best friend lived beside him who has the same job as his, and his best friend moves out to move in with his boyfriend, and the house is empty, and then a new neighbor moves in who is a sheriff, I think, which like America has this weird like cop sheriff system. I think he's a sheriff, and yeah, our main character is like a pretty happy-go-lucky guy, and he tries to make friends with the neighbor, but the neighbor is really standoffish, doesn't really want to have anything to do with him, and they both fall for each other. The cop guy thinks he's straight, but then realizes he just buried his attractiveness to guys, and they both fall for each other. They have a little bit of a funny start. I didn't know if I liked the cop at the beginning, but like it turns around pretty like quickly, and I think I'm like maybe like 3/4 of the way through the book. But I'm enjoying it so far. The only thing I don't necessarily enjoy is that there's like a daddy little kink thing in the book with his best friend and his boyfriend. It is the 3rd one in the series that I'm reading, and I do know that the other guy's story is like one of the 2 before that. I'm just not interested in something like that, so I didn't read that. It has quite a bit of mentioning in this book. I'm just choosing to ignore it. It's just not something I necessarily want to read about, to be totally honest. Can't really understand that, but each to themselves. But yeah, so that is a topic in the book, so you can't really ignore that. But yeah, other than that, I'm totally fine with the book, and I do enjoy the 2 main characters. So yeah, that is the update. I will see you tomorrow with the next physical book I will pick up, and the end of the romance that I'm currently reading. So it is Friday now. We have a public holiday today, so I had the work, like I didn't have to work. We have wonderful weather outside, which is why I spent most of today outside with the dog, and then my partner and I, we went roller skating. Well, he with us with his inline skates, and I with my roller skates, and it was amazing. I am so tired. My legs are really tired. I could tell, normally I just do workout at home, more like calisthenics. I definitely haven't done a more like in German it's Ausdauer. I'm gonna put it on screen. I don't know the English name right now. But yeah, I haven't done a workout like that in a long time, and yeah, I love roller skating. It's amazing. It was a lot of fun. I managed to not fall. But I do still need to learn how to brake. That might be a good idea. But yeah, we had a lot of fun, used the nice weather outside. And yeah, so I haven't picked up a physical book yet. But I did finish 2 romance books over the last 2 days. I read Attraction by Carly Marie. I don't know if I already talked about it, but it is about 2 neighbors, Dexter, who is a cop, and oh yeah, I think I talked about it. It's the one with the friends who have the little and daddy kink thing. I finished it. I gave it 3 stars. I liked the main couple, but there were just some things I just weren't for me. Which totally fine. Obviously we all like different things. When it comes to like kinks in books and how the spicy scenes are done and stuff like that. And so yeah, I have 3 stars. I like the main characters and they were a cute couple, but I don't think the series all in all is for me because of like the other characters and what they do in the bedroom. And outside of the bedroom, there was just too much of that for me personally. And then I did read yesterday. I read a book called Beauty and the Beard, which is a second chance opposites attraction romance, and I'm giving that 4 stars. I did really like it. It has an age gap relationship, but it's not really like ever talked about in the book. It's also not a noticeably age gap between the characters. The one is 28 and the other one is 42. So whilst it is a big age gap, you don't really realize it except for like one scene where they tell each other how old they are. You cannot really tell that they are different ages, so that worked out for me. And it is about a model or an ex-model who wants just a break of life because he has been through some horrendous things, and his friend books him into our other main character's lodge in the small town for a month, and they meet there and they have some instant attraction. And the guy who owns the lodge, he lost his husband 7 years ago and he's still kind of grieving. So both have problems and they kind of help each other through them. There's a little bit of like, not really a breakup, more like I need to think about things because life is pretty like complicated for both of them. And the model has like a lawsuit he's still going through because of abuse and stuff like that. But it was all nicely done, so it worked out for me. So yeah, I give it 4 stars. I really like the main characters. They were really cute together. And also I liked the setting of like this like lodge with a really nice lake. They were going fishing and just, doing a little bit more outdoorsy adventures. A lot of reading on part of the main characters. And yeah, just doing chill things, which worked out really well for me. So yeah, I finished those 2. I have 1 or 2 for tonight that I will try to read. We'll see how those go. And I will show you what I will start reading tomorrow because I haven't gotten around to it yet. But yeah, I will start with Ninth House tomorrow because I need to do a reread of this one before I can read Hellbent. And I really want to start Hellbent next week, so I need to reread Ninth House because I remember next to nothing. I just remember that I liked the book, but yeah, not much more. Like the general setting as well, but like not much more. So I will start this one tomorrow because I'm kind of getting a little bit lost in my cross-stitching, and I bought a new video game because Heroes of Might and Magic came out, the new one, the prequel, and I didn't realize it came out this week, and I'm a really, really big fan of Heroes of Might and Magic 3. If you've been a gamer a long time, you might know it. It has really had an impact on my childhood, that game. And once I saw like the new one has actually really good reviews and it's an early access game, I talked with my partner and my partner was like, you need to get it. So I got it, and yeah, I have been playing that a whole lot, as well as Vampire Crawlers. So that is pretty much what I'm doing with most of my time. Just relaxing, doing some gaming and some cross-stitching. I can show you my progress. You can tell quite a bit more now, and yeah, so I will do some gaming, do some cross-stitching, relax for the rest of the day, and then tomorrow morning I will pick up Ninth House, and we'll see how far I can come with that tomorrow, and we'll see what, if any of the romances I picked out for tonight are any good. And yeah, then I will check in with you tomorrow, and yeah, I'm just really happy. Like, today has been a really good day, so I'm really enjoying that. It is now Saturday. It is an incredibly warm day. We have 26 degrees here, which, you know, is summer temperature, definitely. Tomorrow it's going to be even warmer, and then the rain is gonna come. But yeah, I was just outside with the dog, who wasn't too fond of the temperatures, let's say that. I wanted to give you an update on Ninth House. So far, I am a little bit over 100 pages in, I think. Yes, 114. I'm at chapter 7 now. I am remembering more now. It's coming back to me what the book is about, which is really nice. I thought I'd remembered next to nothing. But yeah, this book is about Alex, whose name is Galaxy, which, like, what kind of a name is that, you know? But yeah, she goes to Yale and joins House Lethe, which is a part of Yale who oversees the secret societies that are around the campus. And Alex can see ghosts, and she has had some really, really, really bad things happening to her because of that fact. And she gets a scholarship because she can see ghosts. She doesn't really come from a great place, and her mentor is Darlington. She is a Dante, which is the position of her in the society, which they only choose a new one every 3 years. And Darlington, which is her mentor, is a Virgil, which he was the Dante before that, so he then gets promoted to Virgil. And yeah, she gets to live a little bit around campus, and then Darlington goes missing. We kind of get different timelines, more or less parallel. I'm now at the point where Alex realizes, or like learns, that House Lethe has actually followed her around and looked, like, kind of like watched her for more or less all of her life, and they could have stopped a lot of the shit that happened to her from happening to her. And so at this point she's like really, really angry at Yale and House Lethe. And she, parallel to that, she, in like current times, she has to investigate a murder that happened, and obviously because she can see ghosts, she is kind of the right person to investigate that murder because it has to do something with ghosts, and so she's doing that. And that is pretty much where we're at right now with the book. I am excited to like read it again. I actually really like it is one of the few, I would say, dark academia books that I actually enjoyed, because I don't know, for some reason it just works out. And Alex is like a really interesting character with her abilities and her trying to learn everything, but still, you know, having her feelings about everything. So yeah, it's an interesting read. I don't think I finished a romance. Let me quickly look at the list. They are all merging into one and the same, which is a little bit weird at this point. Right, I read one book that I'm like maybe like 60% through right now, but I'm actually stopping reading that because I just lost interest. It's a romance where one of the guys is like a sex worker, which he did that to survive in person, and then he now switched to OnlyFans because the family that rescued him from like a really bad situation because he got kidnapped, they were like, okay, you can't do in-person sex work, that is not working, but like you could do OnlyFans because he wants to earn his own money. Which, the weird thing is, all of the bad things that happen to the main character happen before the book starts, which I feel like all of that could have made a more interesting book. And then he meets his neighbor who is like a cowboy, and he's super attracted to him, but he thinks the cowboy is straight. They form a friendship, and from there, the cowboy realizes he has feelings, which that goes pretty smoothly. What more annoyed me was the cowboy, he lost his mom a year ago, and his father, he thinks his father is straight, but our main character witnesses a scene of the father with like a younger guy. The younger guy is like 3 years older than his son, and they have like a discussion because he works for a bank, and the father has money problems because of the death of his wife, and they had like a fling, and like the younger one isn't kind of happy, and then they exchange some not so nice words. The thing is, it's pretty obvious that that part will come up again, because the brother of the younger guy actually is really homophobic, and he hit our main character, and he's the only one who can kind of bring like bad things to the main character because he had to flee from his father, and his father is searching for him, trying to bring him back to put him in like a conversion therapy camp. And so it's obviously that, like, it's pretty obvious that the bad part will come from that, and I hate the whole having the father involved, even though it's just a year after the wife died, and I don't know, I don't like that whole construct, so I stopped reading it. It just made me not like the book anymore, even though I did like both of the main characters. But sadly, if I don't like the supporting cast, and they are obviously part of the problem that will happen, you know, the drama that will at some point happen, which we all know. Yeah, I'm not for that. So yeah, I won't be finishing that. So I will start a new one, which is called Whiskey Neat. Last Call Book 1, where a group of friends open like a gay bar in their hometown, and there they find love. Well, at least one in the first book. So I'm gonna try that one, and we'll see how I like that. But yeah, the last one, just, you know, it's always sad if I have to DNF a book after the halfway point, but I will do it. So yeah, that is it for the weekend. Let me, as last update, this is how far I've come with my cross stitch. It is taking shape, though pretty slowly. And I did play quite a bit more of Vampire Crawlers and Heroes of Might and Magic, so I will continue with that now. Tomorrow I will do another round of roller skating, which I'm super excited about. And yeah, I will end the vlog here now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a good week. I had a good week. I hope you had one too. And hopefully I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!